You're listening to This Week in Real Estate with your host, Rob Golfi. Brought to you by the Golfi Team at RE/MAX Escarpment, featuring Conrad Zerini, broker-owner of RE/MAX Escarpment Realty Inc., and Brian Hogden, owner of Mission 35 Mortgages. Let's hear what's going on in real estate this week.
What's happening, guys? Crazy things just starting in the new year. We got Conrad Zerini here, broker owner of RE/MAX Escarpment and Niagara, and we got Brian Hogden here, Mission 35. Apparently he's an author, and he's going to be probably a producer, movie guru. They're going to make him. Who would you like to have play you in the movies there? Huh?
Who, me? Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, I think you just.
Oh, for sure.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they would have to audition him first to make sure he's got it down, but I think he'd do a pretty good job.
So awesome. So before we get started, we're going to talk about the CMHC to review the down payments on investment properties as part of the federal strategy to tackle housing risks. Okay. But before that, I'm going to tell you a story. So we list a condo for $550,000. The condo next to it, it's the condo building is probably about 15, 20 years old. The condo right next to it, same floor next to it, same square footage, everything, sold for $555,000. They held offers, I think, about 4 months ago at $499. They got $555. Okay, no problem. We're kind of immune to that. That's what's going on in the market. So we put the condo, one of the agents on my team, we put the condo. He said, Rob, what should we do? My clients don't really want to hold off. They just, want to do the normal process. No problem. They put it at $550, and we'll probably get something very close to it. Would you believe hardly any showings at all happened on this thing? So, what the heck? It's worth $550. So we go to plan B. I go to my clients. I said, guys, listen, we're going to get your house sold. It's going to be done in less than a week. Let's just start all over again. Put it at $499.9, over $550. What the heck? People aren't looking at anything unless it's a deal, but they're willing to pay more than market value. Is it? So basically, we've conditioned the consumer to look at stuff not at market value, to look at under market value. Then they can overpay in competition.
Yeah.
It's it reminds me of the mirror salesman. If you ever heard that, there was a mirror salesman, and he always knew which mirror he was going to sell that day, and it was the one that he wrote sold on. That's the one everybody wants. It seems maybe that's the case.
You know what? But do you get that? We've conditioned the consumer to say, "Hey, that's a great deal," and then now let's get into competition and overpay for it.
Well, back in the summer, there was a traditional sale like that. And it actually made the paper. They interviewed one of our agents. They said same thing. Seller said, we want to go, price it to the market, whatever, and it sold. No fanfare, but the story was that it was traditionally sold at the proper list price. That's the story.
I got another good story for you before we get to this. So a friend of mine, we're looking for a house. I sold this house. And we got good money on it. We sold it. It was a luxury home, $2.6 million. Okay, closing was pretty fast, but he was prepared for that. I said, you know what, you got just a little over 60-day closing, and he says he might rent. I said, but let's see what we can do. He was prepared to rent or move in with somebody that can help him temporarily. There was an opportunity for him to buy a house privately for $1,150,000. I said, hey, that doesn't sound like a bad deal. I go, you better keep that option open. So anyways, time's going on, closing date's approaching, 3 weeks away. Now that house from $1,150,000, the guy wants $1.2 million. Okay, private for sale. And so now my friend tells me, he goes, Rob, another house on the street went up for sale and they're holding offers at 1.3. I said, you better make that deal with that guy and just stay in the market, and you got breathing room to buy a house. I go there, make your deal, get it at 1.2. Go there right now. Just tie it up. So he did, and because once the price comes out on the other one, that 1.2 is going to be gone. That
Yeah.
1.2 that the private for sale is going to be gone. So he makes the deal. Boom. 4 days later, the price comes out on the house that goes on MLS, and they held offers at 1.3. They got $1,455,000.
Wow.
That's $255,000 more than what he paid for it. Identical, house, cookie cut neighborhood. Two things here. One, don't sell your house privately. That was a big mistake. That was a big mistake on that part. So you're listening and you're a consumer and you think you're going to save money selling privately. Well, guess what? This is a good lesson. Call me and I'll give you the details on that. Number two, I think you got to use it. You should have used a realtor. There was another number two. I go blank on it. It had number two on it. But again, look at this. And he tied it up. Now, no, number two, he's not out of the market now. He's in the market. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got breathing room. So now when he could resell this house for more money than what he paid for it, and he's not out of the market. So now there's a little bit of breathing room. He's still looking for a house. He's closing on this in a couple of weeks. And if he finds another house, he'll just either flip it or whatever. But he just, you know what I mean? Like, but see how things are out there? Like, you've got to be in the market. You've got to be these people that, went and said, hey, I'm just going to rent for a year. Well, guess what? Not only did they pay $40,000, $50,000 in rent, but housing prices went up $150,000 to $250,000. So guys, I don't know. What do you think about the CMHC review down payments for investors?
I think it's pretty interesting. I think it was a long time coming as well too. And I find it interesting because we go back 2 years when COVID just started. Scotia and some of the major banks did something very similar to what the government's proposing. One of the proposals is the increase in down payment to maybe 25% or 30 or 35% for investors. But another one, whether they do it in addition to or one or the other, was limiting where the down payment can come from.
Yeah.
Right. So they might say down payment for an investment property can't be borrowed from a home equity line of credit. Now, Scotiabank did this when the pandemic started, and some of the other banks, not to center out Scotia, but they ended up saying, because when we thought it was the zombie apocalypse and we weren't sure what was happening in March and April 2020, they said you can't borrow money to buy an investment property. And they put that policy in place, I think it was for maybe 3 to 6 months, because they didn't know what was going to happen. So to do something like that again is possible. And I think, the interesting thing is how far the government will go and whether or not it'll actually have any effect on the market.
I think what's going to happen here is, so just remember this. Remember, you and I bought the same house, Nantucket, right? Okay, we were both young, right? I was the generation before you, and so now the opportunity for a young investor is going to be even tougher. The opportunity for the wealthier guy, he's going to just get more wealthy.
Yeah.
So basically, we're putting a big gap between the starter investor and the investor that's been at it for 30 years. So basically, there's going to be they're eliminating a lot of guys to get into the market and trying to get wealth from buying real estate and holding on to it. And also that extra 5 to 15%, that money could be made to help renovate the house.
Well, what's going to happen? What I think is going to happen too, Rob, is we've talked before about unintended consequences. This is going to push that new investor into private mortgages because people are still going to want to invest, right? So, and there's always, mortgage brokers are quite savvy. There's always a way around a mortgage rule, but typically a way around something costs more money. So now if they implement this for the banks, an investor may still be able to invest, but maybe instead of paying 2, 3, 4%, they might be paying 6, 7, 8, 9%. So now that, to your point, for that young investor, they're going to have to take exponentially more risk in order to get into the market. So they'll still probably do it, but it's going to cost a lot more money now.
Yeah.
But Brian,
so
can't people
just be tighter?
Yeah. But Brian, can't their parents just go on their line of credit, give them $150,000 to their kids, and you just short circuited it. And I'll tell you, when we talk to our partners at Escarpment Law, I would say a lot of their January business has all been refi. A lot of refi, people pulling money out, because you've got the Canadian public is got huge FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And they're going to be all over this, I don't want to call them the Johnny come latelys, but every day they're pounded about real estate, and there's a lot of good news about real estate. So people are doing that, pulling money out of the stock market, possibly putting it into real estate before you know it. And it's funny. I ran a report with traditional investments, like duplexes, triplexes, small apartments, and what have you. Believe it or not, with that category, the real investment category, we've had a 2-month supply of that type of product over the last year, whereas we all know that we've had a 2-week supply of regular housing stock. But the investment stuff is still, it's lingered a little bit, and some of these rules that you're talking about have filtered through to the banks and stuff like that. So made it a little bit more difficult. Brian, some of these 9 units, 5 units, 10 units, they're sold 3-4 times before they finally get financed, right?
Very true. Yeah, they fall apart. And I think you're absolutely right, Conrad. People find a way, like even when that rule came out, people were just putting money in your bank account for 60 days, and the bank was only verifying 60 days back. So it's like you're still doing the same thing. And fun thing, I looked at your report again. I'm going to keep it on my wall, Rob, this 10-year average one that you did. But I looked at it because mortgage rules like this changed, 2008 to 2010. An investor used to be able to buy an investment property with 0 down, believe that, and 5% down back 2008, 2010. And then they changed the down payment. They increased the down payment, similar to what they might do this. They increased the down payment by 15%. Did you know that when they increased the down payment, the market average price still went up between 5 to 8%? Like the market still appreciated. People still got into the market. They reduced a ton of mortgage rules. Like they made it tougher to qualify, more down payment. They were reducing amortizations, and the market still went up 5 to 8%. So I think to your point, Rob, if you still got to stay in the market. This is not something that's going to, topsy-turvy and change it. You're probably just going to see slower growth, even with these mortgage rule changes.
Yeah, it absolutely. Whether there's slow, the market's change, and Conrad, you know this better than anybody because you follow this every day, every week. Markets change every week. Every week it's different. And you know what? And I'll tell you, wasn't there a time last year where houses were staying, there was about a 6-week period maybe. Houses were staying on the market a little longer. They weren't selling as fast as they were. People were holding offers, but nobody was actually coming into the table. Wasn't that was happening? I think it was
like the summertime,
October, maybe November.
Yeah, it was we started to see appointments drop dramatically, and everything. So we started to see indicators like that, and things were lingering. And it was there was panic because people thought, oh my God, we missed the market. And then all of a sudden it ramped up in the late fall, right? Early to late fall. So it ramped up all over again. No, you're right. It's month to month. Our appointments are up almost 200%.
I know. I saw that. I saw that email that you sent. Yeah, I saw that.
So appointments.
Awesome.
And there's still a lot of demand. So, we got 34 showings for every property listed, property sold rather. This time around. Normally it's around 14, 15, 19. But yeah, we haven't seen 34 per sale in, I don't think, 2017. Maybe we saw 20, 22, 24, something like that. Again, an influx of people into the market. There's a lot of demand still there, right?
You know what I like to look at? I'm going to go back and see, because you were sending this out in 2017. Am I correct? The appointment center. I'm going to go back and go for week based on 2017, because 2017 we were all shocked how the market was happening then. Well, we were all shocked how the market happened last year, and I'm curious to see if it's going to continue, which I think it is going to continue, because we haven't had a shortage like this ever. I don't think as long as I've been in the business. And Conrad, I don't know about you. Have we had a housing shortage like this ever in our career?
No, never, not to this. No, we had end of year inventory has been low, like in 2016, and that led to 2017, but not to this degree. Not at all. You're absolutely right, Rob. 100%. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, guys, listen. I got a couple. We're running short time. Just to do one trivia question here. Okay.
Oh, no.
Every year.
Oh, great.
Okay. Every year, the city closes a road for what endangered species to close to cross? Every year, the city closes a road for what endangered species to cross?
It's some sort of turtle or something.
I'm gonna say the gray-tailed wolf cub.
Okay, so it's the salamander crossing.
I was going to say salamander, the white salamander, but geez.
Since 2012, the city officially closes. Was it 2012 or closes King Road from the base of the Niagara Escarpment to Mountain Brow Road for 3 weeks, starting around the first weekend in March, so they can cross. Awesome! I didn't know that.
3 weeks?
They close it for 3 weeks. I thought maybe an afternoon. Okay, guys, let's get going. Yeah. It's like,
but they put some bait on the other side. You don't get it quicker.
Look, I've developed land before, and I've heard about that little white salamander. But yeah, I've heard about them.
Imagine every year in March.
Just one.
Guys that have to drive down that road to go. Yeah, go down the road.
Well,
drive home that way.
Well, the joke would be if you ever want to stop your competitor's development, you throw one of those white salamanders on his property. And that'll solve
everything. Sounds like a Yellowstone move right there. That sounds
exactly.
Like, John Dalton from Yellowstone would do. Guys, listen, it was great seeing you guys. Thank you. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys again next weekend.
Awesome. Thanks.